Okay, people, here we go. We are on to something new today on a Friday. The worksheet is just front back because I know that you guys had a long test this week. So it's not going to be a ton of work, but it is something totally new. We are leaving geometry for a little bit, and we are going to do some algebra, which I'm sure some of you guys will be happy to hear, those of you algebra guys out there. It is going to be a unit on exponents mostly, and basically a lot of these skills were skills that were taught in Math 8, which is a course that you guys actually did not take, and they're skills that are required to do AGS 2 and AGS 3 actually. So I know last year in AGS 2 we got to a part where we needed it and the kids didn't have the skills, so then we went back and filled it in AGS 1. So that's kind of what this is about. So, algebra, here we go. Let's go. A monomial is a number, a variable, or a product of a number and a variable. Let's write down a few examples. So a monomial would be like 5x, 3x squared, 9x squared, y to the 7th, negative 5 over 2x, y to the 4th power, and then just something like negative 6/11. One term, but it can be a product of a number and a variable. So if you have 3x plus 2, this becomes a binomial, which is something we'll get to later. And those of you guys that know quadratics a little bit, like something in the quadratic equation like this is a trinomial, which we'll get to later. Okay, monomials with the same variables and exponents are like terms. And we all know how to combine like terms. That you do know. So to add and subtract monomials, we combine like terms. Do not change the variables and the exponents. So you should fly through these first ones pretty quick here. Let me pick out one to do that will really illustrate this point well. I'm thinking number 12. So we have 3 monomials here. We got that one, and that one. And we are adding these. So we have to put the ones together that are the same. So at first, we're all like, okay, they're all mn. We can put them all together. Well, we can only put the ones that are raised to the same exponents together. So if you see, this one has something m squared n. This one has something m squared n. This is mn squared, which is a different term. So we're allowed to put the first and the third together. We go 10 minus 1. We get the 9. We get the m squared n. And then, voila. That's it. So you just put the ones together that are the same, okay? Should be pretty easy on the first page. Now, page 2 gets a little more complicated, okay? To multiply monomials, use the product rule. X to the a times x to the b is equal to x to the a plus b. So when we multiply exponents, we add them together, okay? So, just to kind of prove it, if I had 2 to the 3rd power times 2 to the 2nd power, just think about that. That'd be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. How many 2's do I have? I have 5. 3 plus 2. Okay, common mistake would be 2 to the 6th. You're like, oh, multiplication, 3 times 2. No. Add them. Okay, so these first ones, super easy. I don't even need to go over them. But as you can see, it does get more difficult. So let's take 21. Okay, so I do love the way that this lady who writes all this stuff makes everything like written out, because this is what I would always have kids write down that other books forgot. This is going to make your life a lot more simple. So examples with coefficients. Coefficients are just numbers that are in front of variables. Multiply the coefficients. Simplify the variables with the product rule. In other words, you multiply the numbers, then you multiply the letters. So for 21, I would multiply the numbers, then I would multiply the letters. That's really all there is to it, okay? This is going to be pretty easy, I think, for you guys today on this one, all right? So let's do one that's a little bit tougher. So let's take 31. So let's multiply the numbers and then the letters. So r times r to the fourth, there's not an exponent here. Oh, but there's a 1. So I go 1 plus 4. And then s times s, s to the 3. Okay, not too bad. Check your answers with Mr. Engler as you go. And what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you probably do a quizzes before this, before you guys even listen to the video, just to kind of see what you know about this. And then I'll have you do a quiz is after and just kind of see how that goes with everything, okay? But I hope you guys have a good Friday. Do a really good job. Work on this hard. If everybody finishes and Mr. Engler's happy, I'm going to give him permission to have you guys finish the day today with a brain game, since we had a productive week finishing up the test, although I do understand there's 9 people that still need to finish it. Oh, and on that note, I know that I told you guys that I would give you guidance on the proofs, on what direction to go, and I'm going to give you that guidance on Monday. So those of you 9 that feel you still need to finish, maybe you're like, oh, well, all I needed to finish was the proofs because I didn't have any guidance. You can put that off till Monday. If all you have left is the proofs, you're done for now. Okay, we'll get you that help on Monday, and I will see you guys on Monday.